Alright everyone, welcome back. Unfortunately, I am going to be alone for this one. Wolfie's power supply decided to just go and die on him, so that's a bit unfortunate. Not really much that can be done on his end, so we have an empty camera box over that way it is. I couldn't tell, the camera of course inverted. But we have the game, I believe, just going live now, so I need to make sure we don't miss any of that. I'm going to go ahead and swap us over into the action, and we're going to get things going. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. It's interesting map choice, I've got to say. Fnatic, I don't think I've actually played it yet with this exact lineup. Obviously, the last time they played Ancient, they had Heap. AGO as well have no games on HLTV, I don't believe, to go off of, apart from the one that they just completed in their previous game versus Prem Ghouls, I believe their name was, and they obviously got the victory there. So yeah, they'll at the very least be warmed up as things kick off. It's going to be straight into that B-bomb site, as the auto director wasn't giving us too much help, and then the commentary I'm running the stream, so I can't do much observing either, unfortunately. We should be good though with the auto director. It's turned on now, and we've got a 5-on-5 retake with 0 damage done. This is not a position that you find too often, as it's heavy cave presence from the T side. They want to push through and try and get up close and personal, rather, I was going to say, with those Glocks. Nice little flick around from Furlan. Hopes to bait for his teammate, of course, in towards the corner. They have a pretty effective set of trades there, you've got to say, as they come up the ramp, rather. As Crims is now all left alone. He's actually landing some nice shots, but he just doesn't really have the bullets nor the time to get this done. Maybe if he had a kit in his possession. Never mind, he had the bullets. That last one actually lands right on the head of Leman. He will die to the bomb in the end, but a few extra kills being found, a bit more money being built up in what was a fairly hopeless retake in the end. Anyway, you've got to say, as they come up the ramp, rather. As Crims is now all left alone. He's actually landing some nice shots, but he just doesn't really have the bullets nor the time to get this done. Maybe if he had a kit in his possession. Never mind, he had the bullets. That last one actually lands right on the head of Leman. He will die to the bomb in the end, but a few extra kills being found, a bit more money being built up in what was a fairly hopeless retake in the end. Anyway, you've got to say, as they come up the ramp, rather. As Crims is now all left alone. He's actually landing some nice shots, but he just doesn't really have the bullets nor the time to get this done. Maybe if he had a kit in his possession. Never mind, he had the bullets. That last one actually lands right on the head of Leman. He will die to the bomb in the end, but a few extra kills being found, a bit more money being built up in what was a fairly hopeless retake in the end. Anyway, he's actually landing some nice shots, but he just doesn't really have the bullets nor the time to get this done. Maybe if he had a kit in his possession. Never mind, he had the bullets. That last one actually lands right on the head of Leman. He will die to the bomb in the end, but a few extra kills being found, a bit more money being built up in what was a fairly hopeless retake in the end anyway. So some small silver linings, I suppose, to be found from it, but all it'll really do is allow for him to have a slightly better force buy if that's what they go for. Or, of course, they might aim to try and get that early gun round out. Yeah, they've decided to actually just go for the straight up eco. One flash bot on Fasher, they'll try and just swarm them on mid as the push comes through, and unfortunately they pounce a bit too early, so that's not going to work out too well for them. A, in the meantime, I think is going to be taken unless they rotate straight over, and it seems like they want to risk the B stack a little bit more. So understandable how many close range positions there is. They're only on USPs. If they wanted to stack A, even then, as the push is coming out from long, they wouldn't really be very effective, even in their numbers, at getting too many kills. Unfortunately, they made the incorrect choice as the bomb goes down, and at this point, you just want to hope to get a couple exit kills. There's no SMGs in play. I'm not sure if they're fully aware of that, but they don't risk feeding over too much money. Slightly prolonged fights as well. Lil's only now really getting a chance as the smokes have faded away, and the AK of Leman's going to join in and get a couple as well. So a clean round. All 5 managing to survive. They build up a very solid economy off the back of that. And as the first gun round now comes in. Let me turn off my light. I forgot to from when I was on camera. It's blinding me. It's the only downside, of course. My camera is towards my monitor, so I put my light behind it, so it's on me. But yeah, it just kind of blinds me then as I'm staring at the camera and the screen. Getting the op straight out onto Nico does as well. No upgrades even really being bothered with on those Galil players, as you would imagine, because they have a full bonus round here, which is an absolutely fantastic buy. So it's Fnatic who need to come alive and take a couple in a row if they want to get something going here for themselves. Bit of cave aggression, nothing too crazy. It looks like it's actually just going to be a straight up A hit. Nikodo's just chilling in the back of Temple. Finds himself one, didn't quite land the follow-up shot, but he rattles off a couple, and at the very least, as you can see, has delayed the push from coming in and has allowed for his teammates to begin rotating, and in the process of doing so, Mezii's actually cut off the lurker, so absolutely fantastic work and a push through the smoke there with the flash coming over. Only Edgar left standing. He's going to be pinched in on by 3 players. A small bit of cover from the box, but not enough to avoid the bullets of Rye. It's Fnatic who find themselves a very convincing first gun round. That's how you want to come alive. Now they need to do that again if they can manage to keep 3 or 4 standing in this one as well. In the next one, then they'd be against an eco. They'd have a chance to really get a solid set of rounds going for themselves here in the early stage on the CT side. Oh, Furlan's actually put down to a Galil. His money was a little bit worse than I thought, but that really is the only weakness to their buy. Quicker mid control as well this time looks to be the plan. And, well, it's Cock Crims who actually decided to go aggressive. Mezii was ready to push through the sniper nest, as you can see. It was just slightly mistimed between them, unfortunately, but the trades do come true off the back of a big play from Mezii. It's a bit too early to do substantial damage. It actually does a small bit. Always helpful when you have that M4 in play, of course, to basically have the helmet effect negated. Oh, the timing on that smoke is perfect as well. They're not actually going to be holding it, though, so it doesn't do a lot in terms of allowing them to have easier kills. Rye still gets 1, and as you can see, his teammate then just took it in, hoping to waste as much time as possible. Unfortunately, not coming away with any kills for himself, but he does great damage. And with the up in the back lines already, as you can see, it's there to catch Edgar out of position. The final player, they know he planted. He's only just about crossed off the bomb, so he actually decides to come back in, desperately feeling like he needed to force the 1 versus 1 and take a kill early on if he wanted any chance of winning out the after plant, I suppose. With the low health, it just wasn't really a viable position. 2-2, it's a slightly closer round for sure, and with the bomb going down again, the pressure stays on. AGO can maybe go for a force play. I wouldn't advise it. They'll probably just take the pistols and some body armor. But they definitely have an opportunity at continuous damage, which will give them a good opportunity when they get the guns again to hopefully break down Fnatic pretty quickly. Yeah, they've decided just the pistols. Kevlar on the man. Other than that, though, not really bothering to spend too much. They want this next buy to be as strong as possible, of course. They only get 2,400, so you don't really want to be spending too much. It's just a pretty standard split from AGO. Expecting maybe some aggression to come in from Fnatic. They've been pretty passive so far, but Fnatic know what they're up against, or likely should know they're up against a much weaker buy in this round, so AGO with that kind of just hoping maybe that Fnatic would get a bit overconfident and maybe give away something in the early stages. It was worth a shot considering they don't have much other than Deagles to work with, but sadly no one's really peeking them. Very passive hold from Fnatic. A few nades at least thrown out. There's not a lot left in terms of, there's no mollies, there's only a couple flashes, but they still have some smokes and HEs, which will be pretty impactful against the Kevlarless players. Sadly, that nade does nothing. Sadly for Fnatic, that is. AGO will be very happy that didn't come in on top of them all. They need to get a move on here pretty soon. They've only got 38 seconds remaining, of course. There's still a bit of utility left in the hands of Fnatic as well. The hope was they'd probably waste the last bit of it and also maybe prompt some sort of a response into peeking towards them since they weren't committing, but it just hasn't happened. No opportunities have been given away. Fnatic are playing things to a T pretty much, and as the push starts to come through, let's see if it continues in that direction. No, the Deagles are somehow finding all of the openings. The initial kill at least was found on towards mid for Fnatic, so with 2 being pulled back now and with the bomb being dropped, it is this round firmly back in their control. Especially with the health on PHR, he has pretty much no hope. He's going to be spammed down by Crims, who has a pretty solid round, taking 3 for himself. If the last couple were low, you still need to ensure that those rounds don't get too far out of hand. As Fnatic take the lead. It's early days, for sure. AGO obviously didn't have the buy there either, so it's still really good damage that they managed to find. And now they have a chance to try and capitalize on it potentially. It's only really Crims that built up a solid economy. Even Nico does, of course, would only get 1,400 if he was to lose this round, so he wouldn't be looking at a buy even despite being way richer than the other 3 players. So it really is a must-win round still here for Fnatic despite taking 3 in a row. Seeing a bit more presence really up around caves in this round. Knowing that they're up against the guns as well, I suppose. Fnatic wanting to be a bit more pressuring. Spam not really landing too much. I think Edgar took a small bit, was it? Yeah, down to 75. Nothing too impactful as of yet as the flash goes over. So that's actually, I believe, for the peek to come in. Seemed like he wanted to fight, and I think he actually was peeking there looking at the X-ray. But for now, anyway, no further damage being done, and AGO are the ones who are going to have to wait for a moment before they can finally get a move on here for this molly to go away. Clearly wanting to pinch in and see if they can get this mid and control around the B alley, of course. They should find this player who's aggressive. The trade available, at least from Mezii. But he's not able to get away with anything else as he gets, again, returned on by Furlan. So a 3-on-3. It forces a response from Fasher. We'll find the player at the bottom of this ramp. The problem is he didn't spot him initially, and the side gives it away. Laman, a big punish there. That should allow them to run this back towards B. I was going to say they have decent time, though, and considering they weren't quite ready with the bomb, I was thinking they might have considered going elsewhere, but it does seem like they will eventually make their way in towards that B bomb site. It's just a standard 1-1 split either way. It's going to be Rai who has to try and hold on to it. He actually finds the first kill. I was going to say ducked back into the cave. Decided, though, to come back out instead, feeling like they needed a bit more in terms of the kills, and especially with how low time was. If he did drop the bomb planter, it basically could have sealed the deal on the round. Unfortunately, as he goes down, he leaves Nikodos with very few options other than to, I would imagine, back away and save the op. Although he's hoping a mistake is being made and someone peeks early on. It's not really going to be given to him, though, and unless he wants to start charging in about now, he's not really going to have a lot of time to work with. I think he's realised that the time it'd take to find and isolate the fights against both players is just too much for him to handle. Furlan even gets the op back to go ahead and drop on over to Snatchy on the side of AGO. So yeah, we get AGO coming back to life here on their T side. 3-round streak broken from fnatic, and even with the op being saved, they're still going to struggle to actually scrape together a buy. So yeah, not going to be fun. They actually do manage a bit more than I would have imagined. Crims had, I think, nearly 7,000, so he was able to spread the love a small bit. 1 MP9 then, and a severe lack of utility, so it's not an ideal buy by any means, but it is one that can still be worked with. Especially if they take some riskier plays in terms of trying to find some of these open-in kills. That's likely what they're going to need. Again, though, AGO just sitting outside B, waiting to see what exactly fnatic want to throw at them. And, well, they want to throw a flash in their direction to allow Fasher to get that peek down ramp. Amazing entry on towards Snatchy. Seemed like he was expecting, must have heard the boost coming in itself. Laman good for one, and he seems to expect the follow-up from Fasher. There you go. What was initially a pretty good advantage for fnatic, rather, is turned on its head. Not only now losing the man advantage and giving it over to AGO, but using up what little utility they had. Only a single smoke and flash remaining there on Nikodos, and Crims doesn't really do too much damage there on his peeking on mid, although Mezii, on the other hand, on a flank, might just be the one to get it done. It's an MP9, though. If he had a better weapon, likely would have came away with a second kill a bit easier, but it does manage to be taken by Crims. So they still end up in a 2-on-2 as the bomb gets ran into that A bomb site, and Mezii's already charged all the way back around towards main. Can't really afford to take the peek, though, because if he falls to Yedgar, then he just leaves his teammate again alone in a 1v1. So he waited for that flash to come in, done some pretty decent damage on Furlan, and should have at this point, I believe, confirmed that both of those players have fallen back towards Donut. And, well, yeah, with that finish anyway coming in from Nikodos, it gives them the advantage. They have to know that it's the only place he can be at. Of course, they still have a smoke as well that can be tossed down on that bomb. It's Nikodos who has the kit himself, so he'll likely have to hop on it. So Mezii's MP9 at range will have to get the job done, and he manages it. A smooth burst on the head, the follow-up shot gets it done, and there you have it. A fantastic retake and a fantastic round win from fnatic when multiple times within that round they almost looked down and out. Sorry, needed a sip of tea. It's been a while since I've done a solo cast, I can't lie. For anyone who's wondering why I'm solo casting if you weren't here in the beginning, unfortunately Wolfie's power supply decided now was a good time to die. So yeah, not fun times. And I had a random PC crash yesterday and my internet dropped for a half hour, so it seems like I've transferred my bad luck over to him. Both fortunate and unfortunate, I suppose. As Fasher gets flashed into ramp again. Had a great entry against the op in the last round. This time he might even get an ace. PHR, I think, wants to stop that. There you go. Denies the ace at the very least. That's a small win there in the book of AGO. I don't think they were expecting much once he was left in the 1v5. Is this best of 3? Unfortunately not, no. This one's still a best of 1. We move on to the best of 3 is now in the next stage, which is the qualifying stage. It's where we find out who moves forward, who takes one of the 4 slots that are on the line in this qualifier. There's 5 then in the next European qualifier and 6 in the last one, I believe. That's going to be a stop being called anyway. Goodbye. Good we lose. So terrible with names. Even if I know the entire lineup, I still always take a moment to actually realize who is dropped out. So I'm just going to go look at HLTV. It's way easier. Oh, who are we missing? Oh, Le Mans, yeah, of course. Was a stop not called? Surely it was. It looks like Fnatic are still playing relatively seriously while AGO are all chilling and spawn, so I'm going under the presumption that this is not live. The only problem with these open qualifiers as well is we don't have admins to tell us any sort of info about how long this pause might take or how long it's going to take for the final player for Le Mans to get back in. And, well, as I'm speaking, he joins. So, fingers crossed, that's it, and we're good to go as soon as they can get a restart in. I think the fact that this is an open qualifier has actually made it a lot more difficult. They might have to contact an admin to reset it manually, now that I think about it. So we're probably going to be waiting a couple of minutes for this one to be fixed up. With that, guys, I'll just quickly throw it over to a break, just because I am solo casting. I'll just be ranting like a madman if we wait here for what could maybe be 5 or 10 minutes. So stick with us. I'll still be here, so the moment the game is going back live, we'll be getting it back on the screen.
Cause I got a thing to claim. Think that I'll crumble. I'll show you a mistake. Where you see me coming, better run for cover. Cause I'm not slowing down, I'm never going under. I survived the pain, I know it made me stronger. So meet the monster I came to conquer. smoke clears, I'll still be on my feet, forget all of my fears, cause I know my destiny. I feel a champion waking inside of me. It's set in motion, the legend's spoken. This is my moment. Can't break my focus, know where I'm going. This is my moment.
Alright, I did say it'd be a fairly short break, and we have had things reset. It's 5-3 for Fnatic, by the way. Don't worry, that will fix after one round is played out. The UI at the top just stays messed up until a round is finished, so don't worry about that. It's the round has not stuck, of course. The stop was called pretty quickly in that previous one as they were running out of spawn. But, yeah, I mean, the pause, won't lie, has thrown me off my rhythm a little bit. I'm forgetting exactly what happened in that previous round because I was trying to find out how to reset and all was going. I'm running the stream as well, so I had to go see what the admins were up to. But we'll focus on the moment, I suppose. As you can see, the economy, of course, not really ideal, especially on the side of AGO. There's a small bit of money spare for Fnatic, but not enough that they'd be willing to lose out on this round and allow AGO to very likely have a chance at tying things up. Aggression from Crims through mid there, actually. He's stuck on the MP9, so trying to get a little bit done with that weaker weapon. He's going to call for Mezii to rotate as well. They seem to have a bit of a read, or think they have a bit of a read that it's moving over towards B, perhaps. Doesn't really seem to be the case, though, and as there is one player at least peeking on that side of the map, the op is going to be able to find the opening pick in favour of Fnatic, so that alleviates a bit of pressure. They're actually going to ease up on their mid-aggression now, not wanting to risk throwing away the advantage that they've already obtained, especially with the severe lack of nades that they've got. The fact that they were able to get forward and show their presence, it means it will slow AGO down a small bit as they have to clear out all these corners and use some of their own nades as well in the process. So this actually was a very well played round by Fnatic. Whether they can close it now is the question. Crims is finally going to get his chance on this MP9. They might actually line up for him. There you go, 2 on the MP9, nearly a turret as well. As Furlan's brought incredibly low, plenty for Mezii to be able to finish up as well. With still 2 left standing, and he manages to finish them both off. So there you have it. It is actually going to go 6-3. As you can see, the numbers do not change. As I said, it was actually 5-3. And AGO have been broken with no bomb plant being found. So some pistols, some Kevlar. That's what they're going to be able to pull out in this round, rather. As they are moving up towards the near full loss bonus. They'll be getting 2,900, of course, in this next round. Someone said, didn't AGO have 5 rounds? They definitely did not. It was Fnatic that had 5 rounds. Oh, decent damage both ways, rather. The initial dink through the smoke allowed for that trade there for Laman as he jumped through as well, so that's a good find to get an M4 out of it. Ideally, they'd want to get it into the hands of PHR, who has Kevlar and full health, but let's see whether that can be done. At the moment, he's not really in position to take the weapon, so Snatchy will hang on to it. Rise going to be actually taking the peek against 2 of them here in the sniper's nest, and Snatchy gets the trade. It looked a bit rough, I won't lie. It took a while. Only the tip of the head was shown for him. The spray does connect. Suddenly they have a 3-on-3, and I was going to say the potential if they wanted to push up towards sniper's nest together to take another weapon away, but they're going to avoid that for now, and that's probably for the best. Nico had already been called in, although against the op they probably could have done an effective job trading with the pistols. It's one of the better weapons to find up close and personal when you're on this weaker buy. And oh, Laman, that is a bit of overconfidence. I know you got a kill here, but it was quite a while ago at this point. Ends up just jumping his way into his doom, leaving PHR and Snatchy to see what else they can get done here in this round as they make the commitment into B. Auto Director, do you want to help us out? I guess I'll do a bit of observing for a moment, as they have to wait out the smoke at the very least. Up in the back lines may actually be caught by the timing just as he puts that smoke down, so this is kind of working in their favour. Needs to be careful, of course. He spots the shoulder. There you go. It's a deagle, though, unfortunately. A rifle would have been ideal for the spray, but he lands for the one. If he can take this quick kill on Nikodos, there's a chance at the bomb plant going down, but unfortunately, it won't happen. Nikodos lands his third kill of the round. Little hat-trick for himself, bringing the Fnatic's lead, rather, up to 7-3. Apologies for the horrible observing, by the way. Oh, director just didn't want to cooperate. Increase game audio. Okay, I can do that, but I'm going to have to take it off screen for a second, so no one freak. Oh, forgot to mute the music before I went onto the game, so when I went back to the pause screen, it came on very loud. I apologize for that. Okay. Oh, damn. A nade kill came in the meantime there, guys. I apologize. You didn't miss much. Just some nades being thrown through the mid-smoke. But the volume has been turned up there by about 30%, I think. I'm not great at maths. But something along those lines. Hopefully it's a little bit better for you now. As Rye finds himself the initial kill. The smoke, I think, sunk under the ground there as well. That's a strange one. Not the initial kill, of course. The nades, as I had said, had found one with a bit of a stack in on mid. But it's a 5-on-3 either way for Fnatic. Good damage done on Rye, but he can just back away and let his teammates be at the forefront of the defense now, and he's actually even going to take the op off his teammate. You're hearing Dean at the moment. Wolfie's power supply just fried on him earlier on when we were on camera. It was horrible timing, to be honest. As Fasher does actually a great job. Going to continue fighting though, which was risky, but he even got at least got the dink rather. And that was the bomb just lurking around mid, trying to, I guess at that point, decide where exactly they were going to try and end the round. Just doesn't work out anywhere. They tried to probe everywhere. I chose a bad time to respond to a comment as well. As Yedgar's pretty much doomed. Rye's pretty low himself, actually. They're both on 18 health. Actually, Yedgar's on 10. I was thinking perhaps one more kill could come through. That would have been at least a bit more damage if you could have taken the op out of play, especially, but no, that's not going to happen. A pause being called in as well. This is the first tactical, but in fairness, there was the technical pause not too long ago, so they probably had plenty of time to chat then. They're not even looking at a buy right now, so most of the focus likely on this next round, so I'd imagine the plan is a pistol buy with some decent nades, probably have some set executes in mind that could help them get the bomb down at the very least, and hopefully have a chance of stealing the round away. So far though, not really much being purchased. Galil for Laman, yeah, decent amount of utility there on Yedgar, and everyone else is going to join him, so yeah, they have a plan in mind here. They would have had a bit of a chat about what they're going to do maybe in the next gun round as well, but really they, I guess, want to maximize their chances on what is the half buy rather than just going in and hoping something would work out for them. Plan in mind instead, and well, the one rifle gets naded immediately down to 49 health. That's not fun. Trading some smokes about. Still don't use that feature enough, I don't, since they've added it. The only time I ever really bother dropping nades is when I want to drop one of my 2 flashes so I can buy a molly before freeze time runs out. Don't know about everyone else. And a smoke every now and again if I'm rotating off a site. But here we go, the push coming in towards A. The deep smokes actually will hold back a couple of the rotators. I don't think long enough for them to be able to, I was going to say, do a lot, but they actually find the 2 entries. I thought the player back towards Donut was going to just fade back into the smoke. He decided to stick around and fight. Could have kept the advantage for the retake instead now at 3-on-3. There's good utility at the very least for Fnatic, but it is still one that could be risky considering the amount of rifles now that have been put into the hands of AGO. The initial kill at least goes the way of Rye. PHR is going to be good for the trade, and I believe he spotted that second player also moving in. And as you can see, Fasher coming in from the spawn. I was going to say Snatchy had that in position initially being held. Unfortunately, the timing didn't work in his favor, and it's Fasher who comes in to clean up both of the kills. Plenty of time on the defuse as well. It's 9-3. AGO had a pretty good start into this game as well. Got the initial 2 rounds, I believe, then lost 3, managed to win out their 3rd round, then afterwards, once they got back onto the rifles, but since then haven't really been able to find much success, even with some close rounds coming through. I mean, the economy of Fnatic, as we can see, is not out of control by any means. There's enough there for a buy on pretty much everyone, apart from Rye, but he'd get a drop from Nikodos probably if necessary. So they can still break them down. The only thing is they're just running out of chances to do so. Pretty soon it's not going to matter. We're going to have a bit of a clash, I believe. They're around Cave as well. Right, going aggressive. I was going to say should be spotted by the man that's in behind them, but no! Somehow gets away with 3 kills for himself. A nasty little selection of headshots that he finds, and, well, it's a desperate push in from Yedker in the end. He had allowed that player to creep forward in cave, and it costs his team everything. I'm presuming a smoke was put down, but not 100% sure. Either way, that was nasty from Rye, and at the moment, Fnatic really are just imposing themselves on AGO over these past couple of rounds, doing whatever they want to do, basically. It's a nice team effort as well, you've got to say. 11, 11, 11, 11, 13. 2 kills in the frag disparity between the highest and the lowest fragger. That's what 4 of them tied. So, yeah, you don't see this too often. Everyone's getting their job done. It really is just a bit too much for AGO to handle. There's no weak points anywhere on the map. They're not finding anything that they can try and exploit. Although some crazy aggression from Mezii is going to be shut down. He got a dink at the very least on Laman before dropping, but certainly not ideal. It's forced the rotations back over towards this A side of the map, and that doesn't really seem to be where AGO are taking it right now either. Thankfully putting flasher back in position just in time. Bit of utility as well. Who's that he has with him? Rye, who has full nades still, actually. He has no smoke, sadly, but a molly and then 2 flashes that can slow them down as well as they're pushing in. He could do a ton of damage and probably just outright shut the push down. Well, he'll need to at this point because he's alone. He actually has been left by Fasher once again. Just because they hadn't seen any sort of presence. Gotta say, Ancient is a very slow map to solo cast. Never solo casted it before, actually, now that I think about it, because it wasn't in the map pool the last time I solo casted. Oh, yeah, good molly damage, as I said. Right-click that nade down onto the feet of the players coming from cave, and while it doesn't really do any damage, it did force the other player back. In the meantime, that spam does a great job of just chipping away at the numbers here for AGO, keeping them weak, despite the fact that the bomb, of course, has gone down, and it's the op that's getting all of the work done from the back lines. 2 of them being snatched up by Nico does. It's all onto Furlan. He's a ridiculous 1 versus 3 from cave right now. Tucked in behind that box. He will actually find the first on the upper. 2 of them being found. It's a headshot spray transfer, but he couldn't quite manage to get the job done on Crims, unfortunately. I like the idea. The initial player, of course, going in for the crouch peek as well, just to pull his crosshair down that little bit extra. And make sure they don't both just get spammed in the head, because you see that happen a bit too often. Actually just decides to go for the AK. Makes sense, they have money, they can drop the op over, or Nicholas can just buy it himself. Can't manage to get an AK on the CT side without salvaging it. This has just gotten completely out of hand at this point. Again, AGO started this half off promising, and it's been anything but since. They've actually gone for a double op setup here. Okay. Might be a spare rifle maybe left behind in the spawn for the retakes as well. I'm sure either way, they'll be looking to likely try and find some of these early peaks. Oh, that nade's going to do some serious damage if he gets it down on top of them. Did he? Did he throw it? And did it just do no damage? Looks like it. Fortunate, must have waited a bit too long. Yedgar did, I think, take a small bit in the end as he was jumping across there. Spam as well. Looked like it was going to maybe do a bit more. Either way, he's just been a nuisance right now. They know he's pushed up in cave. They can't really do anything until the smoke goes away. And in the meantime, just ramp aggression's coming through. It seems like they might expect it. And yeah, Laman manages to catch the timing perfectly just as they tried to turn from the flash. That final player in the corner has been spotted as well, and it's Yedgar with yet another entry. The numbers go in their favor finally. That nade, though, actually gets the kill. I think a bit of spam came in just beforehand as well. I thought he was going to be okay. Yedgar now left low, trying to get the bomb down. Avoids the bullets. Or rather, the bullets avoid him. Wasn't moving, of course. It's going to be a tough afterplant to hang on to with no utility and with, I was going to say, weak positioning as well, especially with that flank from Crims. Yedgar gets shut down as he was trying to set himself up towards the ramp, and now again it's all on Furlan. This time he's only against 2 though. He took out 2 of them from this position previously, and he's going to have to do it again. This time it'll be enough for the round win, and they desperately need to try and salvage something here at the end of this half. Hoping to connect the spam. He does damage on the defuser, but Crims did not stick it. A smart plan, of course. Hop off, make sure, of course, you're just distracting for the extra 2 or 3 seconds so that your teammate can get in behind them. Basic teamwork, of course, but you don't always get it. Especially through these open qualifiers. We had some more one-sided games yesterday. Let's see some of the teamwork shining through on these top-level teams. Although AGO, as we said, of course, are struggling big time. They need the pistol. They need the first gun round. And maybe at that point we can start hoping in the comeback. It is only a best of one, so it's pretty much now or never. Take this moment to let my voice rest slightly. You get a moment usually in these open qualifiers while everyone readies up. Sorry, my throat's giving up on me. But yeah, not a set amount of time, otherwise I'd be running ads, you know. This is an impressive showing from Fnatic though. We actually seen them struggle a bit yesterday, if I'm remembering correctly. Let me go back through the bracket because my memory is terrible. Yeah, was it this game? Yeah, so they beat Doom pretty easily, I believe, but they struggled a little bit in one of their other games. No, sorry, I'm misremembering. It was Astralis who struggled. That was crazy. Fnatic actually just got a bunch of forfeit wins. And, well, forfeit wins early. They got to buy a forfeit win, beat Doom in round 3, beat Toxic World, whoever they are. But yeah, Astralis, actually, let me have a look how did things go for them in the end, because they nearly lost a double overtime to like the 256 seeded team. It was crazy. Oh, yeah, Astralis ended up losing in round 5. We weren't with them, unfortunately. 16-14, okay, yeah, that's a little bit crazy. They've still got 2 qualifiers, of course, to try and make their way through, and the next 2 qualifiers actually do have the most spots combined. Qualifier 1 had 5 spots, this one has 4. Qualifier 3 has 5 slots, and the last qualifier has 6 slots on the line. So they've definitely still got their chances to make it through, but it's just surprising the level of teams that are managing to not only challenge them, but beat them, apparently. Any schedule? No, not directly. If you type !bracket, though, you can have a look at the same bracket I was looking at, and we will just be doing one more best of 3 after this from the next stage, rather, because they're the quarterfinals. The winners of all those move on and take a spot. So we'll just choose one of those. We'll see what ones are ready to go once this finishes up. Probably none of them yet, I wouldn't imagine. We're getting a pretty quick game here. Although we had to wait quite a while for it to start as well, so maybe. Here we go. We're finally ready to get into the second half. Purchase-wise, dual Berettas on Le Mans, as we're seeing pretty often now. Okay, instead of HE and a flash on the Edgar, so we're probably going to see a bit of aggression. I think they might have some sort of a raid, maybe expecting a straight-up rush and hoping to do some good nade damage on them. Maybe just the hopes of placing this somewhere good throughout the round. Utility-wise for the T is as well, they've got a smoke, a flash, and a molly, so they've kept it pretty basic. I don't expect a complicated execute. At the moment, they just seem to have split up, hoping to catch some sort of aggression from AGO. And it is AGO who desperately need to set the pace here and take control of the CT side early on. So I think Fnatic are happy to let them sit for a moment and kind of look at that scoreline up the top. Just like, yeah, that's right, it's 12-3. It's a best of 1, single elimination. You have a very difficult game ahead of you. Should start seeing things being regrouped now. Yeah, it looks like over towards B, actually. I thought they were going to take it into main. Probably for the best that they're not. Although, as I mentioned, that Yedker, of course, does rotate over towards B. So now they're going to have mad numbers on that B bomb site, including the HE that we were talking about and the flash as well. So this could be dangerous. Hopefully, Mezii can get something done to draw a bit of attention away. It's the P250 he has in hand, so hoping to take some headshots at range, of course, but it's only the one player that's shown himself. I don't think it's really done much to sell the fake. And as you can see, they haven't budged at all off of that B-bomb site. Snatchy is good for that initial frag. And, well, Fnatic need to get a move on. Whether they're going B or A, it needs to be right now, pretty much. And it looks like they're going to try and charge it back over. In fairness, if they kill PHR quickly in towards Donut right now, they definitely have a good shot at taking the bomb site. And there you go. PHR falls with little resistance. The player back towards Temple is finally finished off as well by Mezii, and the bomb, it's going to go down. The numbers, though, do not remain in favour of Fnatic. The problem is, as I mentioned, there's no kit for AGO on this retake. They need to move swiftly. They need to land swift headshots at that as well. Edgar does his best, comes away with 1, but it's Crims who is nasty on that P250, taking himself 3 from the bomb site, 4 overall. I'm not exactly sure how Fnatic managed to get away with that when it looked like they were going to be running into a stacked up B. It didn't seem like that lurk around A was doing anything, but they somehow managed to just find their opening. With that, Fnatic are on their way towards the finish line. I don't think there's going to be too much AGO can do. They're going to get 1 gun round here, and they'll already be down 14-3 at that point. If that doesn't work, they're left with a force bite to try and keep themselves alive. It's a heavy Mach 10 buy from Fnatic. Expecting the full eco, I'd imagine. Does mean, of course, if they don't upgrade in this next round, if they want to actually have a bonus round, they'll be left with quite a few SMGs. But since AGO are also being forced onto a fairly early buy, they might have to forfeit helmets on a couple players to get nades, so might be a little bit of a double-edged sword of anything. Yes, SMGs are getting a chance to feed. The only problem is with this many Mach 10s going around, not everyone is going to get a decent amount of money to make it all that worthwhile, so that's why I prefer usually to maybe have 3 max. But, I mean, at this scoreline, Fnatic, they're just feeling confident. They don't really give a damn. As Crims gets himself 1 in the spawn. With that, he can open up really either of these bomb sites and just flank it out. They're actually going to go towards A, I think, knowing the last players around that area. So, Snatchy's being hunted. He's got $600 waiting for one of them, and it's going to be Crims who claims it. 2 kills for himself in that round. A nasty pistol round as well. Sitting at 21-8. No one else is lacking behind by any means. I believe he was the player on 13 when everyone else was on 11, so he's been at least a bit ahead throughout. But everyone else is still doing such a tremendous job as well, just performing as they need, and you've got Crims who seems to be on point, so this is looking like a very strong Fnatic, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do going into the best of 3s, which at this point seems like it should be inevitable. I'm actually not 100% sure who's waiting in the next part of the bracket for them, or who they'll be facing in general, if there's someone waiting or if that other game is still going on. I'll have to have a look in a moment when we get a bit of downtime. As I mentioned, though, there's still a ton of Mach 10s in play. The helmets were purchased because they realized there were so many SMGs at the very least. I was going to say the one player who doesn't have one, though, is the Opper. And it makes no difference in that case because Nico does just shoots him in the face with an AK. That's going to be full control of the A-bomb site. The bomb itself is going to struggle maybe to cross over. They have to wait out and get a smoke put down. Thankfully, they did, of course, have one, so they eventually will get that bomb planted. But AGO want to move in before they can do it, before they can manage to find any sort of decent positioning for the after plant. The problem is, it looked like only one player was truly ready to go forward. So a 1-for-1 trade is not really where they wanted to be left again. Still the numbers towards Fnatic. Oh, a little bit of a fake out right there. I thought Laman was actually going to wait for Nikodos to push forward. That likely would have worked out. Instead, now to 3-on-2. A Mach 10 tucked in behind the bomb site, just playing as much time as possible, and well, a smoke towards the bomb to try and see if they can pull someone out. The problem is they don't even have a kit. It's a full 10-second stick that they're trying to go for. That was just never going to happen. The bomb wasn't even fully covered. You had Fasher flanking around from main as well. They were screwed. It is 15-3 as Fnatic are looking to make quick work of this game. They were waiting quite a while for the game to start, in fairness, so I think they were kind of like, yeah, screw this. Let's just take a quick win so we can move on to the best of 3. Yeah, this is a rough buy, as I said. They were just going to be scraping it together. FAMAS is a couple SMGs and a 5-7, and, well, they need to take some risks, which is exactly what Furlan's going for right now, just charging up mid. Oh, okay, fortunately, I think I might have to take over the observing right now, so we'll see how I can do that in the commentary. Probably not too well. We'll do our best. Spotted there outside B. Fnatic at the moment, I don't think are in really in any sort of a rush to make a commitment. They know a lot of aggression has come in around cave and also up on mid, so they're hoping that someone's going to get a bit antsy if Fnatic don't do, if they themselves don't do a ton, rather, and hopefully give them some sort of an opening. If not, they've got the utility, they've got some nades to try and move forward and maybe clear out a couple of positions. The problem is, where exactly do they want to take this? It looks like it's going to be A. Oh, hang on, what the hell has happened here? I'm not sure how Fasher's gotten himself in towards the temple. Alright, should have a free kill basically on Snatchy. Yeah, Snatchy has absolutely zero idea. As long as he peeks this before his teammates start pushing, then it's going to be a free kill. They should have the bomb site, they'll get the bomb down, and they'll have plenty of time to get set up before that flank that's now starting to come in from Furlan arrives. And yeah, unfortunately, I forgot to swap back to Fasher. I did say my observant wasn't going to be very good. Wasn't lying. Furlan had an M4. If he was a couple seconds earlier, he probably would have had the free kill on the upper. Should still actually get the drop here on Crims. Yeah, he has no idea. Didn't expect someone tucked in so close, considering his teammate had been open the main for a while. So suddenly it's a 3-on-2. They've got rifles as well on the players coming in from Dona, so this is doable. The only thing is they need to move fast since they do not have a kit. Unfortunately, now they no longer have the numbers advantage either. It's only Furlan, and Fasher gets all of it done. All right, it's going to be a quad kill from him to close it out. 16-3. A very decisive victory, of course, coming in from Fnatic. And give me a moment because I do need to mute the game. There we go. Sorry. Running production, everything. My light's not on either, so not ideal. Normally, I would let Wolfie talk for the moment while I was getting things set up to get back on camera, not going to lie. But yeah, no, I was expecting a much closer game there. I did say there was nothing really to go off of in terms of AGO's ability on Ancient because they just didn't have any game.